back on the spotlight. This is episode 28, 28 weeks of getting together every week on Wednesday afternoons to find out what's going on out there and what kind of connections we can make. Connections between event organizers, service providers, or any kind of activities, and you, our audience. Today, I'm really happy because we have a special guest. Her name is Marie Ammerman. She represents Christ Church by the Sea, and we're going to find out about this organization's overall activities and a couple of specific things that they have up their sleeve that you may want to learn more about. So here is with us Maria Ammerman. How are you doing, Maria?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Do you like Maria or Maria?
Whichever you prefer.
I'm going to go with Maria. Let me first of all set up your banner. There you go. And now we have a banner going on the bottom of the screen so that people can find you and ask you any questions about things that we don't cover today.
Sure.
Talk to me about your connection with Puerto Vallarta first and foremost.
I'm originally from the U.S. and my dad was actually born in Jalisco. I decided last year to exercise my dual citizenship and move here to Puerto Vallarta. The area. And just kind of coincidentally, I am from an area in California, Santa Barbara, or near Santa Barbara, which happens to be a sister city of Puerto Vallarta. So every time I come to Puerto Vallarta, it's almost like coming home because the mountains, the ocean, the city in between is just so beautiful, and it just makes me feel at home.
And how long ago did you move to Puerto Vallarta?
In December, yeah.
You're a brand new one.
I am, yeah. I have anniversary coming up.
So had you been visiting before?
I visited in March of last year, but no, I kind of just came, on faith, I guess, that it was going to work out. And I'm actually up the coast in Bucerias right now, but I come into PV all the time for events, and church, of course.
And speaking of church, today we're going to talk about Christ Church by the Sea. Mm-hmm. Tell me about church.
Sure. So Christ Church by the Sea is an Episcopalian church. It's in Plaza Genovesa, so it's very centrally located for north or south in the city. And as you can see from the picture there, it's under a palapa, so it's got quite the atmosphere to it. And of course, we have our core, congregation, but because Puerto Vallarta is such a big tourist city, we'll get tourists that, they just look up online to see what's the Episcopal church in town that speaks English, and they find us and they come and we welcome them. We love to have visitors, and you can see a picture of inside the building, the palapa, and this happens to be our annual meeting last year, so a lot of people gathered for our annual meeting.
Now, did you have this space specifically built for you, or was it already there and you figured we can use it as a church space? What's the story there? You
know what? I'm still so new. I don't know the history, so I think it's been there a while, but I couldn't tell you what was there before. It's hidden. You won't see it if you're driving down the street. If you know where the Office Depot is, it's the gate in Plaza Genovesa that leads to the church is there. So if you peek through the gate, you'll see the palapa.
The palapa.
Yeah. But yeah, I couldn't tell you that. Sorry.
Okay, and you were saying this is an Episcopalian church?
Yes.
Okay. For a total ignoramus, what is the Episcopalian?
Sure.
Episcopalian or Episcopal?
Episcopal, but then like the people are called Episcopalian, or the adjective is Episcopalian.
Okay.
So it's
Episcopal 101, for those of us that don't know.
And I'm not a cradle Episcopalian, so I hope I can do it justice. But it's one of the Protestant religions, so if people know their history, back in the 1500s, Henry VIII wanted to annul his marriage, and it was in the Catholic Church. They didn't want to do that, and so he, kind of spun off and formed, a Protestant church, of which Anglican or Episcopalian is derived from that. So and I know Mexico is primarily Catholic, so just to give some comparison, especially because I was raised Catholic and then converted, it's very similar as far as the actual church service. If you were to go from a Catholic church to an Episcopal church, you will have probably 90% of the same wording in the prayers. There's, the readings of the scripture and the gospel and the communion, hymns, and you'll notice though that it could be that your priest is female, because they do allow female priests and bishops, and also our parish in particular is gay welcoming. So it's kind of parish by parish within Episcopalian, if they are more gay friendly or not. So ours is very gay friendly, and we welcome everyone.
Were you involved with an Episcopal church when you were in the United States?
I was, yes.
Were. So you came here and you were like, where's the local church? Or
yeah, actually, when I came last March to scout the area, I did purposely plan to be here on a weekend in PV so that I could go to the church service. And as soon as you walk in, people are welcoming you. It's not like, oh, who's that? It's very, very friendly. And usually after the service, we have coffee hour, so you can socialize. You don't have to be a congregation member to sit and have coffee and donuts with us. We welcome newcomers, whether they're planning to stay or they're just passing through.
What would you say to someone that, first of all, I don't go to church. Mm-hmm. I know that I could probably use some spirituality in my life, although I tend to think I find it differently. Sure. But what would you say about the experience of going to this particular church that you think people living in Puerto Vallarta could use?
Sure. And I'll use my personal experience because I was raised Catholic. I actually was baptized in one of the California missions. I was just actually at that same church last weekend when I was visiting my family because they are still Catholic. But once I went away to college, I didn't go to church. And so for 20 years, I was not in a church, and I didn't really feel aligned with the Catholic Church anymore. And finally, in my early 40s, I kind of realized I was missing something, and it just so happened that where I was working in Texas I passed by one day and saw an Episcopal church that was having a yard sale or a rummage sale, and I'm a big rummage sale person. So I stopped by, and then it got me thinking, oh, what's that church about? So I went online, found more information, and then showed up at church the next Sunday, and then was attending it ever since. Our church in particular, to me, for people who are not church types, of course you have the liturgy, the traditional kind of service, but it's just in a more casual environment, I would say. Parishioners can show up wearing shorts and sandals and t-shirts. It's not, you don't have to dress up. The priest is probably wearing shorts and sandals too under his vestment. I know he is, but it's just something where you just feel, especially that atmosphere, just welcomed and very at peace. It's a very calming environment. Yeah.
I'm going to assume that church services are in English.
They are, because this is an English-speaking parish. However, some of our hymns are in Spanish, and besides saying the gospel in English, we also say it in Spanish. You don't have to know Spanish. The lector will say it in Spanish, but it's a good way to, kind of brush up on some of your Spanish if you're trying to learn. But most of our parishioners, I would say, are English-speaking, whether they're from the U.S. originally or Canada. But we do also have some parishioners who are natives of Mexico, and they speak English and Spanish bilingual. So Yeah, it's a mix, yeah.
You know, I know that we're going to talk about a very specific event in a second, but talk to me, if you can, about the church's support of the gay community.
Sure. So, and as I mentioned before, each church within the diocese kind of have their own level of how welcoming they are to the gay community. Ours, very welcoming. In years past, we've marched in the Gay Pride Parade. I think this past year, though, the time changed or something, so we decided to do the anti-homophobia march. So this is a picture of us with our banner. And so we were very, very proud to be able to march in that.
Do you have a lot of gay people in the services?
Oh, yes, yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and in leadership as well. So it's something where it's not where it's just tolerated, it's welcomed. So everybody is equal, everybody's appreciated for what they bring.
That's very comforting to know, because I'm sure that there are a lot of us that feel lost spiritually and could probably use, you know, some TLC as far as that is concerned. Let me ask you a question, because we're going to talk about a specific event. And if anybody's watching and you have any questions, by all means, feel free to ask. And also know that at the end of this interview, we're going to have a little giveaway. So don't go away just yet. We're going to talk about a specific event in a second. But before we go there, would you say that it would be easier for someone to become acquainted with your church at an actual service or at a social event such as the one that we are going to talk about in a second?
Well, the services are more frequent because they're every Sunday at 10. And if you are too shy and you don't want to show up in person just yet, we live stream it on Facebook. So that'll give you a taste for what is the service like. But the nice thing about Sunday services, as I mentioned, afterwards, there's always coffee hour. Like it's like the extra sacrament to have coffee. So after service, it really is. It's like
I love it.
So after service, there's coffee hour and usually pastries or something. And it's just a time to chit chat. It doesn't even have to be about religion. It can be, just about what did you do this weekend, or if it's a visitor, we'll find out how long are they in town for, or do they want information on something in particular. We had a family with a little 10-year-old boy they were visiting from Boston a few weeks ago, and they were here for a family wedding, and it just so happened to be the little boy's 10th birthday. So during the service, we always ask if somebody's celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, and if they want to come up and have a prayer said for them. So the little boy came up on his own, like he didn't even have his parents holding his hand, and he just came up and got his blessing. And then during coffee hour, we got to chit chat with them some more, and they were a very nice family. Let's talk a little bit about the blessing of the animals, which is what brought us together to begin with. This is a special event that you're going to have this weekend on Sunday, October 6th at 4 p.m. Yes.
What's going to happen here?
We're going to have a brief service, so it won't be like your traditional Sunday service. It's going to be definitely personalized to be about St. Francis and pets. So, if you want to bring your pet, we ask that they be on a leash if it's a dog or a cat, I guess, and or a carrier. And we'll sit inside, it's air conditioned, and we'll have the service, and then we can chit chat afterwards too if anyone wants to get more information about the church. We're happy to talk about that. So it's just going to be very brief and just a way to recognize the role that animals play in our lives. And a lot of churches not just Episcopalian, but because it's St. Francis feast day this week, that's why, because he was recognized as a nature lover and animal lover. And so that's why we see a lot of blessing of the animals at this time of year. Yeah.
Excellent. So this sounds like a really interesting way to get acquainted with the church.
Yes.
Now, you also have a series of concerts coming up. Tell
Yes.
me about your concert series.
Sure.
Which I told you that I would prepare a graphic for it, but I am looking at the graphics I prepared, and I must have had a glitch just a second ago, because I did not prepare the graphic for the concert series.
That's
but
okay.
you know what? Look.
It'll be on our Facebook page.
It'll be on the
in a
Facebook
few
page.
weeks.
Yes,
I think we're
yes,
still
yes.
trying to line up everybody, but the first one will be November 10th, and it's Teresa Kelly, who's a pianist, and she's very versatile. So I think one of her YouTube videos mentions Bach to Beatles. So there's probably something for everybody in the concert. And it's a benefit for Club Vallarta, so it's a children's program that she's involved with.
Vallarta?
Club Vallarta.
Oh, Club
yeah,
Vallarta,
sorry.
okay.
So, and the concerts are free, and if someone would like to donate towards whatever the cause is that's designated for that event, they're welcome to do so.
So time out, before, so just so that I understand, my experience going to church as a Catholic, being raised Catholic, is that you give money at some point in the service.
Sure.
And that money is for the church. Am I hearing that you direct some of your proceeds to other organizations, or how does that work?
Well, for the concert series, it's a benefit for Club Vallarta, so the funds, whatever's raised, would go towards them. And the other concerts in the series, some of them are specifically to benefit the church. One of them's a benefit for Escuela de Migrantes. So it'll say on the event who is the beneficiary of the donations, but it's a free will donation. So even if you don't have funds and you want to come and enjoy the music and the fellowship, you're welcome.
How, that's not going to talk about money, because I'm just curious about this. Do you have any grant money from something or someone, or does the church work out of the kindness of the parishioners?
Well, the kindness and donation. So Sunday services, there is a collection basket so people can donate. Or nowadays, people can do it online, or just do like a check. So there's so many ways now. But I mean, there is the traditional donation plate, so to speak. And so what happens is, the church, because it's Episcopal and the leadership is focused more like within the church, of course we do send a certain amount, percentage to the National Episcopal Church to further their, some of their causes and to pay for the higher leadership, but we keep the money mostly with us, and so of course it pays the rent. We have to pay rent, electricity, and then what we pay, for just our expenses. You got to buy vestments, hosts, wine, communion wine, things like that. But there's a little more control of the funds because it's here.
Gotcha. Out of curiosity, I mean, there might be some people out there that are interested in going to church, but maybe they don't want to go to an Episcopal church, Episcopalian. I'm going to struggle with that.
That's okay.
Are there other churches that you're aware of in town that cater to the English-speaking community? I'm not, just because I'm so new here. I think I heard there is another Episcopal church somewhere near the airport, maybe. Gotcha.
But I'm not sure if I'm remembering that right. So, I mean, I guess what I would encourage people is, I mean, Google's your friend probably, is Google English-speaking Episcopal churches in Puerto Vallarta and see what comes up.
Yeah.
So, and just, maybe your viewers can weigh in, if they're members of an English-speaking church here and they want to shout out.
Absolutely.
Feel free. We're not trying to, monopolize.
No. I mean, it's not.
We're very friendly people.
No, I mean, ultimately, what we're here about is just creating all kinds of connections.
Yes,
and making sure that people connect with whatever works for each individual person. I think it's great that you're here. And again, I speak from the point of view of someone, I mean, my religion is music. So, you know.
Well, you would like our church. We're very blessed because all of the people that are doing the concert series, they're either parishioners or they're very good supporters of our church, and they come by, you know, I guess when they're in town, or maybe they're part-time, you know, drop in, and they're giving of their time and talent to support, you know, the community by offering their talent for free, and then raising funds for whatever their pet cause is. So we're very fortunate. We have many musicians in our parish. So every Sunday there's music.
So live music?
Yes.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So we have keyboard and sometimes a cellist and a choir.
Kathy says, my religion is cats. That's fair. That's fair. I think that is my second religion. I think that is my second religion. Anybody watching, if you're going to church somewhere here in Puerto Vallarta, let us know. Let us know. And if you're watching during the replay or later on, please feel free to throw in your comments so that we can create these kinds of important spiritual connections for as many people as we can. What else? What else are we missing?
Well, and I wanted to go back to the money discussion because I forgot to mention, of course, besides our, you know, operating expenses, we do set aside funds for charitable causes. So actually one of our vestry members is on the board of Vallarta Cares, and we donate money to them each year. And then we also donate, I'm not so sure it's money, but time to a school in San Vicente to teach English. So one of our parishioners last year was going to teach students English in the school, one of the schools there. So it's definitely not thinking just about ourselves, it's thinking about others and trying to spread, you know, the fellowship with the community at large.
What is the best way, or rather the best place, to learn about all these things? You were telling me before we started the interview, before we went live, that you're starting to get more involved in Facebook events and this, that, and the other. If anybody wants to find out about this wonderful series of free concerts, or about the blessing of the animals, or anything that you have going on, where is the best place to go? Yeah,
I would say the Facebook is, because we did create an event on Facebook for the blessing of the animals, and then we're still, I think, finalizing some of the artists for the concert series. So once we have that, I think we'll be putting up we'll create events for each of those, and we'll put up the flyer for that as well.
Well, Facebook is our friend, and I mean my personal friend, and your friend, and everybody else's friend. For my morning broadcast, Coffee and Headlines, I usually look for Facebook events. So in the future, if you have something going on and I don't mention it, please feel free to nudge me. Like, I try to go into the Facebook events every morning. But, you know, Facebook has its own agenda, and sometimes things show up and sometimes things don't show up. By any means, if you have something coming up, feel free to let me know.
Sure, and one thing I didn't mention, you were asked earlier about how people can kind of get a feel for the church or just the teachings, is every weekday our rector actually has a Facebook devotional in the morning. So about 7:30 on our Facebook page, you'll see him with the readings of the day, and usually something to do with maybe something historical and his analysis of the readings. So it's a kind of a real easy way to kind of learn a little bit more about what our point of view is, I guess.
I love it. I mean, you guys are doing, I know that you guys are doing the Facebook Lives because I've stumbled upon your priest. Sometimes when I'm scrolling, I'm like, this dude looks familiar.
Father Bob, yes.
Yes. Has he been with the congregation for a long time?
I believe so. I want to say, I think it's about 5 or 6 years. Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Maria, what else? Are we missing anything? Have I not asked about something that is truly, truly important for you to share? Because that's what we're here for.
I think we've covered it all. I'm just very glad to have been able to talk with you and to share our information with your community, our community. You know, I don't know if you have the picture of my dogs, but the blessing of the animals is really near and dear to my heart because I have 3 rescue dogs, 2 of which were on the euthanasia list in Texas.
That's not
good. And so it's very important to me that, you know, we honor our pets, and if someone at the event it makes a donation, we will get that to a spay and neuter clinic or organization to help the pets here in Puerto Vallarta. So we're definitely want to see everybody's pets if they want to bring them in. If they don't want to bring the pets, if they're not, like I'm only bringing one of my 3 because one of them doesn't play well with others.
Fair.
So I'm bringing one, but some people will bring pictures of their pets on their phones, so you can have their picture blessed if you don't feel.
And you can get your iPhone blessed at the same time. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, protect against glitches.
Against theft or against like unwanted blockage or something.
Yeah, because if we have visitors who are here without their pets, then of course, you know, a picture's fine. So.
Well, it's been a pleasure to get to know you in person. I am sure that at least one person, or maybe 2, or maybe 200, or maybe 2,000 will benefit from this information.
I appreciate you having me.
I'm really excited about this. How about you help me do a little raffle?
Sure.
Because we're going to have a draw today. Today we're going to have a draw from the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work is giving away a coffee and muffin combo.
Looks good.
For anyone that is in town now or at some point, the magic word to put in your comment is coffee. If you want to get a free coffee and muffin combo from the wonderful Karina, who's standing over there. Yes, there she is. Just write the word coffee in your comment, and that way you will be eligible for this drawing. You can get it now. Oh my goodness, I can't believe Eric just wrote coffee. You know why? Not Kathy, Eric, the owner. Seriously, Eric.
Some restrictions apply.
Some restrictions apply.
You can probably get it free, right?
I love it. I can't believe this. I can't believe the owner of the Joint Boutique Hotel. I'm just giving you a hard time, Eric. You know, I love you like a muffin.
But not the muffin.
And Eric writes, they charged me for my purchase. Can you believe that? Well, you should at least get a discount, Eric. From Karina. Karina should give you a discount. Anyhow, let us take a quick look at this drawing. So far, we have 10 people. Okay, so I'm going to do this drawing. Are we ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Here.
Dun, 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 dun. No, it can't be. It can't be me. Why am I shoving?
Oh.
Marie Murdoch.
Yay!
Yay! So Marie Murdoch is the owner of this week's giveaway from the Cafe Rio here at the Joint Boutique Hotel. Congratulations on that. As long as we're all here, and if you don't mind, I'm going to do a quick public service announcement about my own chingaderas, because I do have some things that are coming up. First of all, we have my Mexico Soulful Storytellers Music Appreciation Presentation coming up a week from tomorrow. And then, of course, we're going to do a presentation on Carole King on October 24th. And then we're going to have Day of the Dead. My presentation on everything you want to know about Day of the Dead is coming back October 29th. And then we have Rachmaninoff, my favorite Rachmaninoff pieces, at the beginning of November 7th. And then just in time for Thanksgiving, we're going to have music that honors thankfulness in my presentation called Gratitude. Of course, all of these presentations take place here at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work on Thursdays, except for the Day of the Dead presentation that's going to be on a Tuesday. Maria, any parting thoughts?
Just hope everyone who can make it on Sunday at 4 can come with their pets or with their pets' pictures and enjoy the service and the fellowship.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for joining me today, and thank you everyone for watching. As always, please spread the word. If you know of anybody out there that is moving and shaking, please send them our way. I will see you again tomorrow morning for Coffee and Headlines, and a week from today for more spotlight guests. And I already know who's coming next week, and I'm very excited. Have a good day.